I knew meeting an alien's family would be complicated. I just didn't expect it to involve an imperial decree, 3 armed guards, and a woman powerful enough to silence an entire star system with a gesture. My name is Elias Rowan, Human Cultural Liaison to the Talaran Collective. I'd been stationed on the orbital city of Vaildar for nearly a year, assigned to diplomacy, translation, and unofficially making sure humans didn't accidentally start wars by smiling at the wrong tentacled dignitary. That was how I met Leary. She was a Talaran xenobiologist, curious about human physiology, humor, and eventually me. Talarans were tall, elegant beings with luminous skin that shifted color with emotion. Where humans blushed, they shimmered. Where we frowned, their light dimmed. Leary glowed constantly when she laughed. What started as professional collaboration turned into long conversations under artificial stars, shared meals adapted for 2 very different biologies, and quiet moments where words weren't needed at all. I knew it was risky. She knew it was forbidden. Her mother, after all, was Matriarch Sarilith, supreme elder of the Talaran houses, keeper of bloodlines, traditions, and marriages that shaped entire planetary alliances. Which is why I froze when Leary entered my quarters one evening, her skin flickering with nervous silver. "She knows," Leary said softly. My heart dropped. Knows what? Her glow deepened to violet. Everything. The summons came an hour later. Not a request. A command. I was escorted through the heart of Vaildar, deeper than I'd ever been allowed before, past districts restricted even to most Talarans. The architecture shifted from flowing glass to ancient stone grown rather than built, humming faintly with energy older than human civilization. At the center stood the Matriarch's Hall. Sarilith awaited me on a raised dais, her presence overwhelming. She was larger than any Talaran I'd seen, her luminous skin threaded with gold patterns that marked her as a lineage bearer. Her eyes, if they could be called that, were deep pools of light and memory. She studied me for a long, silent moment. Then she spoke. "So," she said calmly, "you are the human who dares to love my daughter." I swallowed. "Yes, Matriarch." "Dares," she repeated, stepping down from the dais. "And survives." I expected anger. Threats. Perhaps exile or execution. Instead, she circled me like a scientist examining an unfamiliar specimen. "You are physically fragile," she observed. "Short-lived. Politically insignificant." I nodded. "All true. And yet," she continued, "my daughter glows brighter in your presence than she has in cycles." She stopped in front of me. "Therefore," Sarilith said, "you will marry her." I blinked. "I'm sorry?" "You will marry my daughter," she repeated, utterly serious. This is not a request. Every survival instinct screamed. "With respect, Matriarch, humans don't." She raised a hand. The guard stiffened. The room itself seemed to quiet. "You misunderstand," she said. "This is not about your customs. It is about hers." The middle days that followed were the most intense of my life. I was not imprisoned, but I was not free. I was educated. Sarilith believed marriage was not romance. It was structure. Stability. A bond that protected not just 2 individuals, but generations. She tested me relentlessly. I was questioned about human loyalty, conflict resolution, grief, and commitment. I was shown Talaran history. Wars started by poorly chosen mates, civilizations saved by unlikely unions. "You love her," Sarilith said during one session. "Yes. Love fades." Sometimes I admitted, but choice doesn't. That answer made her pause. Leary and I were allowed to see each other under observation. No touching. No secrecy. The Matriarch wanted to see how we behaved when nothing was hidden. Leary was terrified she would lose me. I was terrified I would fail her. But slowly something changed. Saralith didn't just see a human. She saw adaptability. Where Talorans clung to tradition, humans improvised. Where they feared emotional vulnerability, humans embraced it, even when it hurt. During a council dispute that threatened to split two houses, Saralith unexpectedly ordered me to speak. I had no authority, so I spoke from experience. I talked about Earth, about nations built from strangers, about families chosen, not inherited, about how love didn't weaken bonds, it strengthened them when honored openly. The chamber listened. So did Saralith. The final test came without warning. A noble challenger accused me publicly of corrupting Leary, of weakening bloodlines, of threatening Taloran purity. By tradition, the Matriarch had to allow the challenge. Saralith turned to me. "You may withdraw," she said, "and live." Leary's light flickered with fear. I stepped forward. "I won't," I said. I spoke not in defense of myself, but of her. Of Leary's strength, her intelligence, her choice. "I do not own her," I said. "I do not command her. I stand beside her because she chooses me. If that weakens your people, then your people were fragile to begin with." Silence followed. Then Saralith laughed. A deep, resonant sound that echoed through the hall. "The human stays," she declared, "and the marriage proceeds." The ending. The ceremony took place beneath Vaildar's living sky, where artificial stars shifted to mirror distant constellations from both our worlds. It was not extravagant. It was deliberate. 2 species. 2 histories. 1 promise. Saralith stood before us, her expression unreadable. "Human Elias Rowan," she said, "you enter a bond older than your civilization. Do you accept the weight of loving my daughter in public and private, in strength and in failure?" "I do," I said without hesitation. She turned to Leary. "Daughter of my blood, do you choose this human not as rebellion, but as partner?" Leary's skin blazed with radiant gold. "I choose him." Saralith placed her hands over ours. "Then it is done." Later, as the city glowed around us and the noise of celebration faded, Saralith joined us one last time. "You surprised me," she admitted. "Humans are chaotic." I smiled. "We prefer flexible." She regarded us thoughtfully. "Protect her," the Matriarch said. "Not because I command it, but because you wish to." "I always will." She nodded once, satisfied. As she left, Leary leaned into me, her light warm and steady. "You survived my mother," she said softly. "Barely," I replied. She laughed, glowing brighter than the stars above us. And in that moment, I realized something important. I hadn't just married an alien woman. I had become part of an empire. Not through conquest, but through love strong enough to change tradition itself.